What's up, guys, and welcome to the Blue Chip Scouting NFL Draft Grading Series. We've already gone through the entire AFC drafts and looked at each team and gave them a individual grade. Today, I'll be doing it by myself. Devin Jackson here, contributor for Blue Chip Scouting. We'll be going through each NFC West team today. So it's the LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, as well as the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. So without further ado, like I said, I'm doing this by myself today, but first I'm going to look at the Arizona Cardinals draft. They trade away their first round pick to get Marquise Brown, the wide receiver out of the Baltimore Ravens, with their first round pick. So they traded out to go ahead and get Marquise Brown to add to that receiving core that lost Christian Kirk in the offseason. But I'll run through their picks really quickly. Trey McBride, tight end from Colorado State, he goes off the board at 55 overall in the second round. Their third round pick, Cameron Thomas, the defensive end from San Diego State, he goes off at 87 in round three. They double up on edge in round three, taking Myjai Sanders 100th overall. Then they have a pair of 6 round picks and 3 7-round picks. They use it on Keontae Ingram, running back from USC, and then Lacita Smith, Virginia Tech, offensive guard, at pick 215 overall. And then they finish up with Christian Matthew from Valdosta State, the defensive back, in the 7th at 244. And 256, they get Jesse Lucchetta, the linebacker out of Penn State. And then 257, they get Marquise Hayes, the guard out of Oklahoma. So looking at this draft in a whole, I think they do hit some needs that they needed. They pair up Trey McBride with Zach Ertz, the tight end for the Cardinals. I think that's a really good pairing. Very interested to see how he fits in that Cliff Kingsbury scheme. He's not a overly dynamic route runner. He's a very good contested catch player and very good in the trenches, but I'm not sure what type of receiving profile he's going to bring to them outside the red zone and the occasional jump ball down the seam. As for Cameron Thomas and Myjai Sanders, Cameron Thomas feels more like a 3-down lineman in that alignment. They do have J.J. Watt as one of the defensive ends. They can put Cameron Thomas at the other defensive end spot potentially. Then you have Myjai Sanders potentially being an outside backer. Needs to play at a consistent weight, but don't hate the pick. Double up on edge and two guys that are stylistically different. Then you get the running back Keontae Ingram in an already crowded backfield. Not too sure what the kind of the vision with this pick is, but interested to see how it works out. And then you get really in the 6th and 7th round, two of the better guards in this draft class, and Lacita Smith, who I think has the ceiling to be a starter and a above average starter, and then Marquise Hayes, a very athletic player and someone I'm very surprised was available around 7. But Jesse Lucchetta adds to kind of it seems like the identity that the Cardinals are building is very dynamic or very versatile defenders. They had Isaiah Simmons last year, 2 years ago. Last year, they got Zaven Collins, and then Jesse Lucchetta. None of these guys really had a quote unquote position in college and played multiple positions. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Overall, I give this class a B minus. I think they hit some needs, but really, I don't think they went after like defensive back. I'm surprised they didn't upgrade at the defensive back position. That's a position I thought they might go after and try and upgrade. But they do get 2 quality guards and a couple edge players, along with a very overall really good tight end one in this class, Trey McBride. So I give this one a B minus. But now we're going to move to the next team up on this list, and it'll be the LA Rams, who made some interesting selections. They started off in the third because they trade away their first round pick and I believe 2nd round pick to get Matthew Stafford. So didn't have a pick to 104 overall. They took Logan Bruss, the guard out of Wisconsin. I think he's a very high floor, low ceiling type of player. I think he can come in and compete right away to be the starter. Get the Kobe Durant in the 4th round. This is one of my favorite small school prospects. Kobe Durant was someone on my radar since 2020. Inside out versatility, really, really good, playing the ball and being very competitive at the catch point. So really like that pick in the fourth round. Then you take Kyron Williams in the fifth round, someone who really fell because of his testing, wasn't really a dynamic athlete in testing, but has really good film, really good in pass protection. And I think he can bring value in a rotational back role for the Rams. Quentin Lake, a safety from UCLA. I think he really can play maybe that hybrid safety nickel role, kind of take the Darius Williams position since he's now gone to Jacksonville. I think Quinn Lake can come in and not immediately fill that need, but I think he can be a person to go to because I really like him in man coverage and in split safety look. So very interested to see how he fares there. Then a couple in the six, their second six round pick is Darian Kendrick, someone a lot of people thought maybe he was going to be a first rounder coming into the season, but had subpar film, subpar testing. Really, still, I think he can provide value. Probably a depth corner at this point. Not sure you put him out on the island across from Jalen Ramsey, but I do think he can compete for a spot in that secondary. Maybe he moves to safety to kind of get him on the field sooner. So I think Quinn Lake, Darian Kendrick are two players to watch. Competing in that secondary room. Daniel Hardy, defensive end at Montana State, someone I really liked in this draft cycle. Obviously, all the attention went to Troy Anderson, but Daniel Hardy, I think, can come in and have the kind of that Chris Garrett type of role coming into the Rams like he did last year. Garrett was a D2 player that made a few splash plays in preseason, didn't really see much time in the regular season, but I think Hardy is a power rusher that can add a dynamic to that pass rushing arsenal that they do have, obviously led by Aaron Donald. Russ Yeast and AJ Curry, the offensive tackle from Michigan State and then safety from Kansas State. I'm not sure if either one makes the roster. I think Yeast, once again, they're trying to fill that hole that left behind with Darius Williams. So we'll see if he ends up playing on the field. But I really think, the right there in rounds 4 through 6 and the first one in round 7, I think they made really, really solid picks. I give this a B plus. I really like the direction of the middle rounds of this draft. I feel like they got value at each position, and you're adding to a Super Bowl winning team. So they only need a few more pieces to really coming together. So I give this draft a B plus from the Rams. All right, moving on to the San Francisco 49ers and then wrapping up with the Seattle Seahawks. 49ers, this was a tough one for me because I didn't see some value, especially in these middle round picks, but we'll go ahead and discuss. Drake Jackson, the edge from USC, was getting first round buzz leading up to the last few days of the draft. I like Drake Jackson. I think he's still needs a little bit of development, needs to add weight to his frame, but the flashes he's shown at USC, I think, makes him enticing, but you just got to put it all together. So I think he can be a situational pass rusher early on in his career, but we'll see how it pans out. Tyrion Davis-Price in the third round at pick 93, just didn't love the value. I think he was more of a later day 3 back, maybe a round 5, round 6 guy. But once again, the 49ers are going back to the running back stable. Already got Elijah Mitchell and a few other running backs on the roster. I believe they took 2 running backs in last year's draft. So it's very interesting to see them take high capital on that in the third round. Third round pick was Danny Gray, receiver out SMU, field stretcher, legit speed, legit 4.3 speed, 4.4, field stretcher. I totally get it. We still know where Deebo Samuel is going to play next season, so maybe they're already starting to transition and get a true field stretcher in that receiving corps. Spencer Burford, the offensive guard from UTSA, very raw as a prospect. I think he has some high and intriguing athletic profile, but will he develop is the only question. I think he's a nice day 3 swing, but we'll see if he develops. Samuel Womack was someone I was very surprised he got drafted by the 49ers in the draft in general. I thought he was more of a UDFA, but he has a ton of ball production. Smaller guy, I think he's 5'9", but really competitive the catch point. So I'm very interested to see how this goes. I think he probably plays nickel at the NFL level, but they did take a few corners on day 3 last year. So we'll see how he stacks up in that DB room. And then Nick Zakalish from Fordham, the tackle. I didn't really see much of his film. I did see him down at the Senior Bowl, and he did okay against some of the top production or top competition, but didn't really see the high end traits. I think he's more of a depth piece for the offensive line. Kalia Davis, UCF defensive tackle. My guy Nick Price is someone that really liked him in this process. Really a true nose tackle. So we'll see how he kind of fares when it's all said and done. Favorite pick of the draft in round 6 for the 49ers was Tariq Castro Fields. I think he can start in his rookie season, probably takes over that nickel role. I know Samuel Womack was drafted earlier than him, but I like Tariq Castro Fields, like his, kind of instincts, ball production, and was a really stout as a CB2 at Penn State. So really like that pick in round 6. And then rounding out Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant in this draft class, probably has the ceiling to be a backup. Obviously, they have Trey Lance in tow, as well as Jimmy Garoppolo still on the roster. So Brock Purdy can develop for a couple of years, maybe become the true backup for the 49ers. But we'll see what happens. Clearly has a leadership, everything that teams look for in an NFL quarterback. Don't love his decision making, but once again, we'll see. I give this class a C, just a straight up C. I didn't love some of the picks kind of early on. The Tyrion Davis Price pick really, to me, it was a reach. I think Samuel Womack was a reach as well, just based on my board. And then, I really outside of Tariq Castro Fields and a few other picks, didn't love this draft. But like I said, we'll see how it pans out. But I give this a C just based on value because I did see a lot of value in this draft. And finally, wrapping it up with the Seattle Seahawks, probably the best draft and the only team with a first-round draft pick in the NFC West. Charles Cross, get him right off the bat at pick 9 overall. That's an A-plus solid pick. Boye Mafe at pick 40. I love those two fits for the team. Mafe, high-end pass rusher that tends to go in the top 50 these days. Needs to round out his game, but really, really good pick. Kenneth Walker, the third, a very surprising pick by Seattle. But I think, with his profile and what he's been able to bring to the table at Michigan State, I think he's a better receiver than people give credit for. I think he can establish a RB1 role by the end of the season. Abraham Lucas loading up on tackle. Another nice developmental piece, probably picked in round 3 at pick 72. Really good pass protection profile. Needs to get stronger in the run game, but we really like this pick. Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen in rounds 4 and 5. To me, I really, really like these picks because Bryant is the more experienced, already ready to go corner. You could probably start him as a rookie, as a CB2, and really leave him on the island. He did a really good job in that role at Cincinnati. Tariq Woolen, high upside guy. Maybe you mold him to safety, maybe you leave him at corner, but he's 2-3 years down the line. Really raw as only been playing this position a couple of years. Still needs to understand how to locate the football in the air, but we really like that pick. And then the bottom of the draft. Once again, value at each pick here. Tariq Smith, the edge at Ohio State, really a power rusher, not a toolsy guy, but a rotational player that can come in and be a really good run stopper early on. Bo Melton, returner and receiver. I think he provides more immediate upside as a returner, but I think he can round out a nice wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 role on the scene behind DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And then Tariq Young, receiver from Lenoir-Rhyne. Really like his game. He played in a option system in college, so you didn't see a lot of gaudy numbers as some of these other receivers in this class, but really big player, used all over the field, used as a ball carrier at Lenoir-Rhyne. So very interested to see how that pick kind of molds into. But I mean, you get to those guys in round 7. I mean, there's a good chance one of them is making the roster and making an immediate impact. So Drew Lock is certainly going to be surrounded with not only protection but weapons, because that seemed like the big key here in the Seattle draft. So I give this one A plus. I really like this draft. I like the value of it. I think they had the best draft class in the NFC West, and I really like what they're bringing to the table in terms of value at each pick, and really like what they brought overall. So that is the NFC West entire draft class. Like I said, I did it by myself today in a little bit of a shorter video, but really liked where each one landed. But for me, I think the Seahawks had the best draft without a doubt, and to me, I think they're really set up for the future in terms of whenever they decide to go get another quarterback, if they do decide it this year or next year, to go get one of the top end quarterbacks either in the draft or via trade. Let's just say trade away, Russell Wilson this offseason. But that's all I got for now. You can follow me on Twitter at RealD_Jackson. You can follow Blue Chip Scouting on Twitter at Blue Chip Scout. Subscribe to this video for more NFC breakdowns. Me and Mike will be doing the NFC South breakdown later this week. And then we have the NFC East and NFC North later in the week as well. So for now, I'm signing off here on Blue Chip Scouting's YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.